If you're seeking to boost your clarity in any decision you have been wanting to make or any situation that you're going through and you keep asking yourself, is this the right decision for me? Is this the right approach for me? Even, is this the right path for me? I want you to go right now to my show notes because I have prepared a free and simple 3 questions framework for you to go through that by answering these questions, I promise you'll feel a lot more clearer and you'll start creating fulfilling outcomes out of the decisions you're making. Just go right now, or you can go to ybcoaching.com/clarity. Enjoy the episode. Welcome to the With Clarity and Purpose podcast with your host, Yanet Borrego. Each week, I bring you an inspiring person or message to empower you to live life on your terms so you can be who you want to be, do what you are meant to do, and have the life you deserve to have. We will provide you with practical and cutting-edge approaches to continue getting clarity and direction on your path, mastering your mindset, and gaining confidence to tap into your inner wisdom so you can live on purpose. Welcome to another episode of With Clarity and Purpose, and today I'm very excited because I'm gonna talk about my upcoming 10 days silent meditation retreat. And when I say upcoming, it's next Wednesday, January 25th. This episode will be probably published at the beginning of February. So a few weeks after I recorded this, I wanted to record a podcast episode before the 10-day silent meditation experience and one after to see how they compare and also to take you with me through this journey. Now, you might be thinking, 10-day silent meditation retreat. What is that? How do you know about it? What is going on? So let me give you some background information here. 6 years ago, well, let me go back before that. I've always, since I graduated college, back in 2012, that's when I really started getting deeper into personal development. And a huge influence on that was my uncle. If you have heard previous podcast episodes, you'll know about my uncle. He actually passed away from cancer almost 2 years ago. And that was one of the reasons why I felt motivated to leave my 9 years corporate career to transition to full-time entrepreneurship and really step into my purpose, really step into what I feel in full alignment with. So I've been in personal development since a long time now, but 6 years ago, I was getting my hair done, and then the person who was doing my hair, my hairdresser, we were talking about meditation and personal development. And he mentioned this 10-day silent meditation retreat. This was 6 years ago. And I just fell in love with every single thing he said. He told me that that was the most life-changing experience he has ever had. And because of that experience, he started his own business, his hairdressing business. And now he goes back every year at least once to do the 10-day silent meditation retreat. So this person told me about this retreat 6 years ago. And 6 years ago, I really wanted to do it. I was in corporate. I had 10 days of vacation, which is nothing really. But I was taking those 10 days anyways to do a lot of my personal development trainings. I did Tony Robbins that way. I did the John Maxwell team coaching certification that way. But in that moment of my life, something had changed. I was starting to date who is he's my ex-boyfriend. Yes, my ex-boyfriend. And I told him about this 10-day silent meditation experience, and he was like, you're gonna take time off from your job to go to a place to be in silence. That doesn't make any sense. And I let myself be influenced by that comment. So I continued doing my personal development trainings, but I didn't do the 10 days. And this was one of these things that I didn't do it 6 years ago, but it kept popping up in my mind over and over and over. And like I say to my coaching clients, if it pops up in your mind more than 3-5 times, you gotta take action on it, right? So 6 years passed by, and then last year, Cody and I, my husband and I, we actually tried getting into it. He got into the meditation retreat, but I didn't get into it because within the first hour of the registration opening, this fills up completely. So 2 hours after they had opened, I went to the website, I was getting my registration ready, and I realized that they were waitlisted already for the women. And instead of that, we went to Mexico, got engaged, and then went to one of my friends' weddings. So it was an amazing alternative. Now, this year, I tried to be more proactive, and the registration actually opened. They have different classes, and I'm gonna provide more details in a couple of minutes. The registration actually opened the day of my birthday, November 11th. It opened at 6 a.m. and at 6 a.m. I was there just ready to click in that link. And because I was super proactive, I actually got in this year. That was back in November 11th, and the time has come, my friend, because the meditation retreat is next Wednesday. So that's the background of everything that has happened since those 6 years when I first heard about this. Now, I have met many people who have gone through this meditation retreat. It's actually called Vipassana Silent Meditation, because Vipassana is the Buddhist technique that you are taught during that retreat. And you get to practice this technique for 10 hours every single day. So after the 10 days, at that time, I would have done 100 hours of meditation, like literally 10 hours of meditation every single day for 10 days. I joke with my friends that I better start seeing people's auras after those 10 days, or at least reading their thoughts. Who knows what's gonna happen? But there are so many famous people that have also gone through the 10 days Vipassana retreats. Have you heard of Young Pueblo? He wrote Inward, Clarity and Connection, and now his latest book was Lighter. I just finished reading it, highly recommended. And funny enough, he had a lot of trauma during his childhood, and when he started healing, he decided to go to the 10 days Vipassana retreat. And when he went, he realized the in-depth experience he had, and he kept going. He kept going like twice a year. 10 days silent meditation retreats twice a year. He later on did a 20-day silent meditation with Vipassana, the same organization. And I read in his book that he also did a 30 days silent meditation. And these are 30 days where you don't have access to technology, you don't have access to the phone, you are just in pure silence. And it was because of this meditation technique, Vipassana, that he was inspired to write about his healing experience and also publish his book. So this has been a game changer for him. The other person that did Vipassana was Dan Harris. Have you heard of the 10% Happier book? Dan Harris also has a very, very inspiring story. He says that in his past, he was consuming a lot of drugs, and he was also a TV reporter. And one day, while he was reporting the news in TV live, he had a panic attack in the middle of everything. And that panic attack led him to go into this journey of healing. And where he started was the 10 days Vipassana retreat. And once he went through that experience and transformation, he fell in love with it. And he kept going back once a year. I don't know if I'll go back once a year. And at least I want to try it once in my life, which starts next week. So there are many famous people who have done the Vipassana 10-day silent meditation retreat. And there are many people that I know that have gone through the experience and they have loved it. Now, was it easy? Nope. And they make sure to tell me that it's very challenging, which I totally understand because I can totally picture that in my mind. Now, what is the Vipassana Silent Meditation Retreat? So this is hosted or organized by an organization, and the retreats are called Vipassana. If you go to the website dhamma.org, I'm going to put it here in the show notes, dhamma.org, you'll be able to see the schedule and all the classes they give. They are international, so they have these classes in all over the world, New Zealand, India, Spain, you name it. And they have a lot of different retreat locations in different parts of the United States. The one I'm going to is Kaufman, Texas, which is close to Dallas, and it's just 4 hours away from me, which is perfect because I don't have to spend a lot of time or money just traveling there to go through the retreat. These retreats are also free. Do you hear me? People are like, are you serious? Yep, they are free retreats. So this is open to the public, totally free. The only thing that you need is to wake up early to make it to that registration because like I mentioned before, it fills up in a matter of less than an hour. At least the women's group, because they separate men from women, at least the women's group fill up super, super quickly. So just make sure to make it there. Now, Vipassana, that's the organization, that's the technique, that teaching technique, but how people reference this retreat is by calling it Vipassana, right? So it's this organization, as I mentioned, is global, international. They have retreats all over the globe, and it's a free retreat. So for those 10 days, you don't pay anything. And you actually stay in the place for free. And they give you vegetarian food, so you don't have to pay for the food. You don't have to pay for anything. They are actually donation based. But the cool thing about this organization is that they accept donations only to the people that have completed the 10 days. If you live in the middle of the retreat, day 5, for whatever reason, and you want to donate because it was beneficial for you, they don't accept it because you haven't gotten the full benefit, which I think this resonates so much with me because it speaks about the integrity of the process, the integrity of the meditation technique and the organization overall and how they operate. And I was reading on the internet that everyone who helps with these retreats, they are students who are volunteering their time, money, and everything. So my understanding is that the funding for this organization to operate is based on students' donations, which is really cool. It is really nice because this is like a community who still keeps alive these kind of retreats, which are for free. So it's for the community. Again, it's just super cool. And it seems to be this concept of decentralization. There is no central operating, the model is the same, but there is no central operating person of core, but instead all the past students maintain this organization, including the people who cook, the people who do the logistics for these 10 days. I think it's just a very cool concept. So I explained the cost, I explained the structure, how it operates, how to find it. Let's talk about the rules and the schedule. These are 10 days of pure meditation. Okay, so this is something pretty intense. 4 a.m., like you start hearing the the bell, that's how they wake you up. 4:30 a.m. you start meditating, I think for 1 or 2 hours. Then you have breakfast, and when you first start your day, you can meditate in your room or you can meditate in the hall with everyone else. I will definitely be meditating in the hall with everyone else because I don't want to fall asleep by myself. That's how committed I am to the process. So 4:30 a.m. you meditate, then you have breakfast, you meditate more and more and more. And I think closer to the end of the day, you have lunch, of course. Then closer to the end of the day, you have a tea break, which I guess they give you tea and snacks in the schedule. I didn't see anything around dinner. So in my episode, after I've gone through the 10-day silent meditation retreat, I'll fill you in all the details because I have no idea what to expect out of that tea break. But even if we don't have dinner, I'm totally fine. I'm there for the experience. So, okay, we have a tea break, and then every day we have 1 hour of a teacher's discourse. A teacher's discourse is 1 hour of the teacher teaching you about mindfulness, about yourself, and about the Vipassana meditation technique. And then after that, I think we meditate more and we go to bed at 9 p.m. This same schedule, we go through the same schedule for the next 9 days. So all the 10 days, we follow the same schedule of waking up at 4 a.m. and going to bed at 9 p.m. And I added up all the meditation hours, and it's 10 hours or super close to 10 hours. So 10 hours for each day of 10 days, that is 100 hours just meditating. I'm so excited. People ask me, hey, can you do yoga? Can you read? Can you write? Nothing. You cannot read because that's considered a distraction. And not only that, even when you read, you are consuming someone else's input. This silent meditation retreat is all about tuning in to the only input that matters, to the only input you have control of, which is yours, right? So when you think of why am I doing this meditation retreat, it's really because it has been so hectic since I transitioned from corporate to full-time entrepreneurship. Having a business is at another level. And this is something I take seriously, and I do the best I can every single day. So it can be really hectic. Also, my business has been growing, which is great, and I've been hiring help. But with all this process being implemented, it's just like go, go, go. For the last maybe 5 weeks, excluding the weekend I went to Las Vegas, I've been working the 7 days. 90% of the time. So I can totally see in my mind and in my body that I need to rest, right? I need to tune back into my own input, which is the purpose of these 10 days. And this is a system and a channel that I'm going to leverage for me to reset and restore. And the only purpose is, as I mentioned, to get to know myself better, to tune into myself, to really become aware of what are the things that I'm going through, even at the subconscious level. Here's the thing. I've had so many losses in my family, like my immediate family, the closest family I have, excluding my mom, which lives with my husband and I. They passed away in the last 2 years. I also had my miscarriage last year. Cody's dad also passed away from COVID. So in the midst of all this transition from corporate to entrepreneurship, then all of those things have happened. And even though I've showed up every single day, ready to go, productive, going through the ups and downs of life, because I'm a human being too, I am sure that at a deeper level, there is more release I need to do at the subconscious level when it comes to grieving all those losses that I've had in my life. Because I believe that whenever you're in silence, and more if it's 10 days back to back, everything that you haven't processed, not everything, but a lot of things you haven't processed, my friend, they're gonna bubble up. And now that is my opportunity to face every single thing that is going through my subconscious programming. So I'm just so excited because I know the work is going to be very healing and it's going to be in depth. Like I love things, and it's going to be transformational. Is it going to be easy? No. You cannot read, you cannot write. I don't have communication to anything really. Social media is gone. I'm not going to be having my phone. I need to leave it on my car or leave it with them. Like there is no phone, no computer, no technology, no working. The only purpose every single day is to meditate, to turn inward, and just to connect to your own input, whatever that might be at that moment. I also read, super interesting, that you're not supposed to look at people's eyes to not distract yourself. And also I can imagine to not communicate, after even 5 days of silence, you would be like, okay, I need to communicate with someone, right? Because that's what you're used to doing. Human beings, we are creatures of habits, of repeating the same patterns. And this 10-day silence is a huge pattern interrupt for anyone's life. So they don't allow you to look at people's eyes because the only thing they want you to do is to just be with yourself. And I love that I said be, because in this world where there is so much doing energy, right? You wake up, you do. You wake up, you do. It's like do. I'm so excited. I'm so looking forward to have these 10 days to be able to just be. Like pure being energy, tapping into that higher level energy of creation. Because when you are in the present moment, there is a lot of uncertainty. You don't know what's happening in the present moment because you cannot predict it. But welcoming that uncertainty and starting to be more comfortable and aware of the present moment allows you to tap into your inner creativity, that which you already have. So those are the rules of the retreat. Of course, we need to make sure we are negative in terms of COVID. I think we do a test before the retreat within 12 hours. And then in the middle of the retreat, we need to do another test just to make sure everything is in order. 10 days, how you get there. Okay, I explain my why, right? Why I want to do this. Let's talk about what I think is going to be hard, which I love. This is a lot of assumptions because I don't know what's going to happen. One of the things that concerns me the most is my back. Like usually when I meditate, I have back support. And when you're meditating in the floor, which I also got a meditation cushion from Amazon. So when you're meditating in the floor, you don't have back support. And in the floor, I mean sitting in the floor, not laying down, which is how most like pro meditators do it. They just meditate in the floor, straight back, but no back support. And in general, we are not used to doing that. I know I'm not used to doing that. So I know the pain in the back is gonna be a reminder of how challenging the journey could be in that moment. The silence, I know is gonna be challenging, and I'm not concerned. I think I'm thirsty of that challenge of silence. I'm definitely excited for being in silence for 10 days and just being, just resting, no reading, only tuning into my own input. Even though I say that, it will be probably challenging because I've never been one day in pure silence. So of course, it's gonna be difficult. I know, I recognize it. So the silence is one, the back. I think what I'm curious about also is the integration back into the usual world. So you have been 10 days in silence and you finish, and now you integrate into a world that is full of noise, of inputs. I don't know. I'm just super curious for whenever I record the episode after the 10 days. I'm curious about what my experience is gonna be, even integrating into all of the inputs we receive at all times. It's gonna be super cool. Another question that I've gotten is this guided meditation? No guided. This is silence. I was reading a couple of people on the internet who has described and documented their experiences. And they mentioned that in the first 3 days of the retreat, the only thing they ask you is for you to focus on your breath. In silence, just focusing on your breath. And of course, thoughts are gonna come up, things are gonna bubble up in your brain. It's totally okay. Like, we are not enlightened yet. So rarely we go long amount of times in silence. We have to be realistic. But honestly, overall, I am excited because I've been meditating consistently for the most part since 2012. I think I'm ready for the challenge. It will be hard. And in my mind, there is no plan B. In my mind, I want to fully embrace this experience. I want to show up. I want to follow every single thing about the technique. And I cannot wait to come back after 10 days and tell you about my experience, tell you about if my assumptions were right, what were the hardest things that I went through, what came up for me mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. Because what I love about this retreat and the idea of being 10 days in silence is that it's gonna touch me at the spiritual level, at the mental, emotional, and physical level. This works everything. And of course, you're also tapping into your conscious, your unconscious mind, and your higher self, where your intuition is. So I think I'm just very excited, to be honest with you. I think it's gonna be super transformational. Of course, I've told my clients, which I love dearly, 10 days, I'm out of the grid. And then when I come back, we'll resume the sessions. Of course, these podcast episodes will continue to be released, including my weekly newsletter. I may schedule some posts in social media. I'm not sure yet. I'm thinking about it. It's just so much to do before I disappear into the nothingness of silence. So I'll keep you updated. You need to check out, if this is something that resonates with you, you need to check out the organization, because I think it's a really cool experience that is free and is really for the community, operated by the community. In terms of finances, in terms of hours, it's just really, really interesting to see. I'll see you next week and the other week, and I cannot wait until I release the podcast episode after my 10 days meditation experience. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. I appreciate everything. Thank you for tuning in. And if this was helpful, please remember to share with your friends and family. We are here to support each other. We are here to empower each other, because we all deserve to live the best life we can in the most aligned level we can. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening at With Clarity and Purpose. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. Sharing is caring. Please share with your friends and family so we can continue building an empowered community together. I'll see you next week.